So you guys ready?
I guess we have no choice.
All right. Well, here we are, July 25th. Coming at you with our July Patreon episode. It's going to be our first episode in the Tomb Raider 2013 series here on Patreon. So we're going to go over the first leg of our playthrough, being chapters 1 through 4. And chapters, I use that term very loosely, which we'll get into when we get into the actual game. But let's start off by checking in on the guys. So Nick, how are you doing tonight, dude?
Doing good. In between trips right now. I was in Kentucky last week and this weekend. Now I'm going to Denver tomorrow. So lower 48 traveling,
Yeah. You were talking about chicken salad shenanigans in Kentucky.
Yeah, because you were saying how Sam's Club has really good chicken salad. So we were at a restaurant and several people ordered chicken salad, thinking it was like chicken on a salad, right? So the one guy gets it and it comes out, right? And obviously there's a group of like 12 of us, so it's kind of like they don't have the orders tracked very well, so they're just trying to pair it with the right people. So like they slide like the plate of chicken salad, which is literally like some like greens with like a bowl shaped glob of chicken salad just sitting on top like a hat.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, this isn't what I ordered." And like the waiter kind of looks at him and like takes it away, right? And he goes over to the big tray area where they have all the food, and he's like checking the bills and everything. So they give everybody their food, and then like last plate just like slaps it down and slides it in front of him, and like so hard that the chicken salad hat fell off of the greens. And I was like, I think that is what you ordered. He's like, I guess so. And yeah, so there are several people that had gotten that thinking it was chicken on a salad, but I think they now know better. When though it made me wonder, I was like, is it always that way? Like,
I feel like that's
grilled. I was like grilled
rare.
chicken salad. You know?
Yeah, grilled chicken salad is what you say.
It's how you know for sure.
But I don't know if I've ever like seen just straight up chicken salad on a menu.
True. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I would have probably made a similar mistake there.
Well, usually it's like chicken salad sandwich or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But this is just like some green stuff, and then like a hat bowl of chicken salad on top. It looked weird.
Of chicken salad.
Yeah. It was definitely bizarre, but it was funny. Because then we pointed out chicken salad everywhere we went, and there's like, oh, right there it is on the menu. It must be a thing down there in Kentucky.
That's awesome. Well, glad we could squeeze this in between trips, which we got to say, Chad, it was intended for Chad, obviously, to be joining us during this. And we had this due to my error scheduled on the last day of July. So we're like, okay, that's probably not a great time to record our July Patreon episode. So things kind of got moved around due to Nick's travels and my poor scheduling. So Chad's at work tonight. So sorry, Chad.
We need to hire a scheduler.
Yes, we do. Dad.
Yes.
How are you?
Hey, I'm just happy to have my power back.
Yeah.
Because I lost power for like an hour earlier.
It's like a running theme between you and I and podcasting. Because Thursday, our guest, his power went out and he wasn't able to join us. And then tonight, your power goes out.
Yeah.
But
here I am.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. Just ready to talk about Tomb Raider.
Sweet.
Yeah. So let's get into it here. So we're gonna go through the game in segments of 4 chapters. I'm using my air quotes here. Each episode, and I use air quotes because the game, while the walkthrough I looked at to make the schedule and breakdown of the segments we were doing, has them broken down into chapters. They aren't really specified in game where, some games you might get like a little title card when you complete a chapter saying like chapter or whatever, or just a text of like the chapter name or whatnot. Tomb Raider 2013 does not do that. So, yeah, we're just kind of doing checkpoints, I guess, here in the story. So tonight we're going to cover the prologue leading into the coastal forest, mountain temple, mountain village, and the base approach. But yeah, first off, just general impressions of your time with the game so far, guys. How are you liking it? Well, let's start with you, Nick.
Yeah, I'm actually liking it a lot, mostly because it's like an awesome deck game for the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah,
That that 2012, like almost old enough not to age well, but Steam Deck kind of fixes all that for any older games, like especially that run perfectly on it. So it's just really fun. It's a really fun handheld game, being an older game, and I did have a hard time stopping because it is so accessible. Even the gameplay is like super smooth and fun. So
Yeah. Mm.
it's also a good balance between like challenging puzzle wise, but also like real laid back. But also I don't think I'm playing on anything particularly hard. Definitely just there to kind of enjoy the story.
Right. What about you, Dad? How you feeling so far?
I really like it too. I would agree with Nick and say that it's very smooth gameplay. See, I tried playing it on the deck, but then my saves didn't carry over for some
Yes.
reason. So, but that was after I had gotten to where I needed to be, so it wasn't really a big deal. The only issue I had though at first was I made the mistake of playing with keyboard and mouse.
Mm,
So like when I was in the woods trying to shoot the deer, I would aim, but I would be stuck aiming at one place and I couldn't move it. So I had to hook up the controller to do it, and it was fine after that. It's been great. Love the puzzles. She gets beat up, man. And
Yeah.
it is crazy how much this chick goes through.
Yeah.
But no, really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that about the save files and the Steam Deck and stuff. So we all have a Steam Deck, and I was looking forward to taking advantage of the cloud, the Steam cloud, and being able to play on PC, then picking it up on the deck whenever I wanted to, and switching on and off like that. But like you, my save files weren't transferring, and I did a little research, and apparently it's just something with these Tomb Raider games and the operating system on the Steam Deck with causing issues between the cloud saves. You'd have to like go in and do some like Steam Deck voodoo to get it all to work. And I was like, not worth the hassle. I'll just play it on the PC.
Yeah.
So I ended up playing it on the PC. But yeah, I think it's fun. I think it plays smooth. I looked it up, building out the schedule just to see, what we were in for exactly. Looked it up on how long to beat. It's about 12 hours to get through the story, which is relatively short. So like we all kind of joked when we were like last week or so when we were talking about making sure we were all progressing to the point where we were going to stop for this episode, and we're all like, yeah, I guess I'm already there. I thought I had a lot further to go, but turns out, nope, I'm already done. So
Yep.
That's cool. I like. I've really enjoyed the collection aspect. That was a big thing in like the Arkham games and the Uncharted games that I really like got their hooks into me. But yeah, I mean, this is like the female version of Uncharted, which is like the male version of the original Tomb Raider, which is like the female version of like Indiana Jones. So I guess the circle of versions is continuing to perpetuate here. The intro was really intense, I thought. Like Dad said, poor Laura just gets like absolutely obliterated to smithereens in like every part of the game so far.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the whole campfire system with that kind of being like the checkpoint save points.
Yeah.
The UI there is pretty cool. Not a huge fan of the QuickTime events though.
Like the hit the
partial
button.
cutscenes, like
Yeah.
at the time, like
Yeah.
push the triggers or like whatever. Resident Evil games like used to do
6.
that a lot.
Yeah.
6 was really bad. 5 had some. Kind of not a fan of those because when I see like even if it's like an in-game cutscene, I usually start to relax and start to sit back, try to
Right.
take in what's going on. I'm like, oh crap, I just died
Nope.
because I didn't push the button.
Yeah, I unnecessarily had to like redo that whole scene with Bro in the temple, like where you're in like knife fighting him, like he's basically trying to murder you and like
Yeah.
choke you out.
Yeah.
I think that first I was with you, I thought it was just a cutscene and I completely missed
Yeah.
it. And then I think actually it might have been twice because I got the first one I did not expect like immediately to be a second one. And I was like, geez, please, like it's just not necessary. Just let me watch the cutscene.
Yeah.
But to me, that doesn't really add much to
Yeah.
what's going on. Now, like that kind of stuff in like God of War makes real sense because like they do that stuff like mid action, right? They don't do that mid cutscene, and that's how
Yeah.
this felt for sure.
Yeah, and I really think that they did a good job of showing Laura in her like novice stage of tomb raiding, right? She's young. These first 4 chapters, she's learning how to survive really in this situation. Like she has the knowledge and the book smarts of
Yeah.
the history and the artifacts and the place she's trying to go. But being in this new scenario of trying to fight for her life due to the catastrophe at hand, right? She's having to learn how to, hunt, use weapons, come to terms with fighting against people, things of that nature. And I think they do a good job of like showing that struggle with her and her like not being excellent at these things yet. Like she's still very green. I really appreciated that part. But yeah, do you guys have anything in the general sense before we start getting into the specifics?
Let's do it.
No? All right. So the story kicks off. You're Laura
on a boat.
on a boat. You are. She's with her expedition team. They're in search of this island with a reality filmmaker, documentarian sort, making a show of essentially of going on this expedition with Laura to try to find this island of Yamatai, which is around Japan, and they're speculating it's within this devil or dragon's triangle thing, and against the captain's judgment, or it's either I think maybe it's the director. They decide to go into this dragon's triangle, and a huge storm comes, wrecks the ship. I think it like splits in half at one point. And the boat sinks, and the crew, everyone on board is washing up on this island, and they kind of, you pick up your character there. What'd you guys think of the premise of the story, how it started, like what they present here as our objectives, like why we're going to Yamatai, all this stuff? What'd you think here at the beginning of the game?
Was that mostly baked in the cutscenes, or was there like a large beginning cutscene?
Yeah, there was a large intro.
Yeah.
On the boat in the storm, and
no, I really like that. I think it ties well with, as they do the flashbacks, as she's kind of like remembering things that like make
she's
her
got the camera
better. Yeah. I think that's really cool and how they kind of piece together the story. But yeah, the intro scene was cool, and I think I don't think I ever really played a Tomb Raider game like through and through. Like obviously we played it in the library in like junior high, right, against every teacher's wish, because it was like the most horrible game ever because there was square titties in it, and like close up ass shots,
so bad.
but it ran on these like boxes that we called computers in the library. So yeah, I definitely am enjoying I guess a reboot on the character.
Mhm.
That's my first pass at it.
Yeah, what about you, Jeff?
So is this like the first like remake from the original ones? So this is like a brand new character, well, not brand new character, but like redone and like
Mhm. Yeah, this
Um,
is the reboot of the franchise, and this is the first entry of a trilogy. I don't know if they're doing any
Okay.
more after this, but
We need a fourth.
I don't even I'd have to look up while we're talking when the third game came out. I want to say maybe it was like
All
2
right.
years ago or something.
I think it was 2019, maybe.
So I never played any Tomb Raider game before this, and I've never watched anything. I didn't watch the movies. I didn't really care for it. But no, this I honestly probably wouldn't have played it, if you didn't say anything about it.
Mhm.
But I'm glad you did because it's been very fun. It's a nice like origin story of sorts. Trying to just see how she gets to where she is, like what she's known for, like
Right.
we are kind of like exploring that with her as we go through the story. No, I like the beginning part. It was actually her, I believe, that was like, we need to keep going. And
Yeah. I think she ended up talking the captain into it. I think it was the director, and I want to say his name is Whitmer. Whitman.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Rise of the Tomb or Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is the third, came out in 2018, and the movie, I believe, or the most recent movie, I believe, was based off of this game series and not the original one. I think there was
2018 Tomb Raider movie. I completely missed that.
I did too.
The lead actress in that like really looks like Laura from this game. Like they did a really
Walter
good job.
Goggins is in it.
Yeah. But yeah, so Laura sets out here on her first expedition aboard the ship Endurance, intending to find the lost kingdom of Yamatai by her suggestion against Whitman's advice, Whitman being the director of the reality documentary thing. The expedition ventures into Dragon's Triangle. The ship is struck by a violent storm and sinks, stranding the survivors on an isolated island. Laura is separated from the others, is forced to escape the cave of a deranged savage. So yeah, this is kind of the prologue here. So we get dumped out on the island, and we see some of our people up on a cliff with some people we don't recognize, and then we get knocked out and drug into a cave.
Yep.
And then the prologue is us escaping the cave, doing a few very like minor puzzles. Of that quick time event Nick was talking about, where our captor is trying to keep us from escaping. But eventually we get out of the cave here and we land ourselves on the coastal forest. And as Laura locates the other survivors, she finds more evidence that the island is inhabited. She finds her friend Sam and a man called Matthias, who claims to be one of the passengers. As Sam tells Matthias the legends of Himiko, Laura passes out. When she wakes, Matthias and Sam are gone. When Laura reunites with other survivors, Whitman decides to break off from the main party with Laura to search for Roth, who is still missing, while the rest of the group, Reyes, Jonah, Alex, and Grimm, look for Sam and Matthias. So when we get here onto this island, this is like the first actual area of gameplay. First off, when we come out of the cave system up through and get to the fire, and we meet the group, kind of what were you guys' thoughts about the other people that were aboard the ship, part of Laura's expedition crew here? The Switman guy seems like a real piece of work. The director, not a huge fan of Whitman, but how do you think about the supporting cast of characters up to this point? Granted, there hasn't really been much of them.
I generally do like them. They kind of seems like they are a bunch of just kind of either talented and or adventurous type people, and like Whitman's just kind of like the showboat, kind of the money funder, trying to buy a name for himself, and the rest of them seem kind of real genuine in terms of why they're there versus him, and that they kind of seem more aligned with Laura.
Yeah. He at one point during this chunk, in one of the flashbacks that I forget which one of you brought it up. I really love the flashbacks where she's occasionally, when you'll sit down at the campfire, she'll open up the camcorder that she was able to grab with her or whatever before the boat sank, and she kind of like watches something that's recorded on there, and I really like that form of storytelling through this. I think it's pretty cool way to let you in a little bit on the past and explain some of the story. But in some of these clips, and through some of the things that you pick up out in the world of collectibles, you learn that Whitman's kind of like this, filming this trip and this expedition is kind of his like last chance to rewrite his name in this industry, right? There's one collectible note that's actually pretty depressing where he's like, his wife's like about to divorce him, and he's like, no, don't, just wait, I'm telling you, this piece of film is going to bring me back into glory, and there's so much money here in this, just give me the time to make this, and then if you still want a divorce, like fine, so be it. But I'm just like, dang, bro. But yeah, Whitman's all about this piece of film, and like Nick said, everyone else is just genuine in their pursuit of whatever it is they're trying to find. And in this section, we're introduced to the bow. We have a little hunt, a little game of cat and mouse with a deer. Introduced to some of the game's mechanics in terms of foraging for food. You can scavenge your killed animals for food and experience. The collectibles are introduced. How do you guys feel about bows in games? In Uncharted, not Uncharted, The Last of Us, I was a huge bow main. Like, I loved the bow. So when this game opened up with a bow, I was like, yes! I
was super pumped because in like just about any game, I'm an archer. We played Gauntlet, and I was,
just spun in circles.
You're Legolas.
Spin it. Legolas, yeah. D&D, I had a bow. Crit Master.
Patrick in War Tales.
Yeah. And it's funny because before recently, I was a run and gunner. But I guess I've matured, that's what happens. But no, well, when you get the gun later on, I still chose to use the bow because it's quiet, it's good for stealth.
Yeah.
But no, it's really fun. After I got past the whole keyboard and mouse incident, like I feel like the controls are really smooth also. It's not that hard to kind of get a handle on it. So I really like it.
I'm a big fan. I like it too.
Yeah, it's good.
I default to it. I'd rather use that. I like picking up the arrows. Like, they stand out to me more.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it just like role play wise, like I'm just not in the position to be having a shootout. And I also think situationally, I also like that it's this type of game, but some things just don't make sense, right? Like the amount of like noise that like she causes wherever she goes, but yet bad guys are just completely just like, oh yeah, whatever, just gonna guard
Yeah.
this spot. Even though the entire mountain's like burning on her way up, because the whole village gets lit on fire, and
Yeah.
it's just a busy island, and even her making her way through like the initial cave system with like crazy
Dude,
people after her.
that part was so intense.
She's just blowing shit up.
Yeah.
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 Got
Got the
like
fire.
huge shark cages like rattling around.
Yeah.
As like elevators, you're blowing up barrels, like lighting everything on fire.
It's great. I will
Then there's
say,
like an cavernous like avalanche of stone that happens. Like, how do people not know she's here?
yeah,
Yeah.
like she's caused so much
No shame.
chaos. I
No
will
shame.
say, she must have a pretty high pain tolerance. I mean, she looks like she's in pain, but she got freaking stabbed in the abdomen, and she's like running around, falling down, and
Yeah.
when she
Yeah.
goes up to get the bow, she falls down. Like, dude, this chick is like beastly.
Yeah. Yeah. Or zero sensation of pain.
Pure
Her whole
adrenaline,
body is
man.
just numb. She's gonna feel that in the morning.
Yep.
But yeah, so in this little section, so like I said, the entire game, if you're just playing through it, not like going 100% crazy on all these areas, it's only like 12 hours. So each one of these chapters, I mean, it probably took maybe an hour and a half for me to play through this, maybe 2 hours. So this section here in the coastal forest, not too much goes on, but as you go through, you pick up the bow, you learn to hunt, you get acquainted with the mechanics of the shooting, and you have your I always just now forever call it detective vision from like the Batman Arkham games, where you can go into detective mode and see like where to go if you need to, or maybe some collectibles and things like that. You kind of get the feel for this, and as you progress on, you end up getting into the next area, the Mountain Temple. Before you get into the Mountain Temple, you meet up with Whitman, and as you get further into the forest, you see these shrines of these shaman-like things, and you're starting to get a little more story on what it is they're actually there searching for, and that is the let me find it here on the page. The Sun Queen Himiko, who allegedly once ruled Yamatai, and they're trying to uncover the legend of her. Like, apparently it's rumored that she was blessed with shamanistic powers that enable her to control the weather. But not much really is known about Yamatai's history. So they're there kind of trying to uncover this. And they come across these shrines and these statues in the coastal forest here. And as they continue to go in deeper into the forest, they come across this temple with a door that's locked. You have to find a way to open the door, et cetera, et cetera. It's got all these like markings and writings on the walls and stuff. And you help Whitman get inside, and now we're in the Mountain Temple. I have to ask one thing about like the mechanics, I guess, of the game. When you go to the campfires, so everything you do, you gain experience, and then when you go to the campfire, you can spend your experience on upgrades for your weapons
Skill
or
points.
Skills.
Yep.
How do you guys feel about these skill trees and the skill points and stuff like that?
I felt good about it.
Yeah.
I like the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
And they don't seem necessary, at least at the difficulty I'm playing on. So they're kind of just fun things to have and do.
Mm.
Um, but I guess what is there? There's two. There's like survival and
Like,
combat.
yeah, pretty much. I don't remember exactly what they're called, but yeah, essentially
Yeah.
one is more towards
I
survival, one's more towards combat, and then you have all your weapon upgrades and stuff in the future.
Yeah, I feel like in these situations, I tend to go like passive survival stuff because like it gets you more salvage, gets you more experience,
Mhm.
things like that. Because otherwise, like if you're on a lower difficulty, you don't really need the combat ones.
Yeah.
I'd rather get like more stuff to upgrade more stuff, which I do like the upgrade system, and overall that UI is super nice.
Yeah.
And I like that it's stuck at the campfires. So it's just like a nice little spot to like chill out for a minute.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about like popping up your menu in the middle of a zone. Yeah, it's nice. I do like the UI. I think the different skill trees and stuff are like very, very basic and, like you said, simple. There's not much depth there. Nothing that kind of pops off the screen is like, oh, that's a cool thing. I want to do that. It's a lot of passive, like exactly like you said, being able to salvage more parts when you loot things, or being able to salvage more food when you harvest plants or animals. The upgrades skill wise seem very minor and not really that noticeable or exciting. Upgrading the weapons is, I think, a little bit better, but not like, again, it's nothing like incredibly crazy. But I do like that these things are there because it just adds something else to do, I guess. But I don't know. How do you feel about them, Jeff? I mean, like,
I mean, it's very simple. Honestly, I didn't really spend too much time like really analyzing it. I mean, I did my skills. I didn't even realize there was a fast travel option.
yeah,
You know what I noticed about you is like you definitely beeline like whatever the shiniest thing in a new game is. I feel like you did something like that in War Tales where didn't you just try to murder everybody and you obviously lost?
yeah,
And like when we played the co-op, we were just talking about some like super to me and Mike like introductory things. You're like, well, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
you're like,
It's
yeah, I just stole everything from everyone.
I just go straight for the stuff, man. You know,
straight for the stuff. Oh, it lets me do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna do it. I'm gonna do it every time. No, I mean that didn't really stick out too much to me. I mean it looked nice.
yeah. I think honestly, like,
I mean, it's stormy as shit on this island too. Like it
it
is
really
just
is.
it's dreary, and like that's just all I think about the campsite menu of just like lightning and rain, and I'm just like
Yeah,
chilling.
yeah. Honestly, I don't even think it's needed. Like,
Yeah, right.
the skill stuff, the upgrade stuff, it's kind of
It's not needed.
an unnecessary
Does
addition.
Uncharted have that? No.
I don't remember.
You
I
just
don't
get like
think.
different guns. You just kind of walk around. You don't have a skill tree in Uncharted.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the different guns you're rolling with, and even that is like
See, it's
mid
like
high bar.
when you get that climbing axe, like it
Yeah,
should be
yeah.
like that. Like you're
Yeah,
not gonna
that
upgrade
stuff's
weapons.
cool.
You just get the stuff you need to get through to the next part. Like
Yeah.
I'm also fine with upgrading the weapons. Like, that
True.
system's okay. It's I mean, that happened in The Last of Us. Maybe later Uncharted's probably not. But I think the skills are they're just so minor and so unattractive, unappealing, that it's like, probably don't even need to do that. This game would be fine without it. It's not gonna hurt the game, I
see,
think, leaving that out.
I'm not crazy for not really paying attention to it after all.
No,
Yeah.
right. Never said you're crazy. It's just that's just what you
Well, you're
do. It
definitely
seems like.
crazy,
Oh
but
yeah, I am crazy.
I wonder
yeah.
how you would have played World of Warcraft. What you would have like shining
think-
lighted on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I did try it, but I was too into StarCraft at the time.
Oh, yeah, very different gears there.
They started the same, but then
Yeah.
they went down a different
Yeah.
path. Anyway,
So, did anything stick out here in the Mountain Temple for you guys?
Mountain Temple, that door unnecessarily large,
Yeah.
heavy to open. Mountain Temple was fun because it's kind of like the first zone where you're doing some platforming, and I always like a good
Oh yeah, that was fun.
platformer. Like kind of learning your jumps, double jump, right? It's where, like you said, that's where you learn the pick. I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, I
Maybe
think
we're
that's
That's
getting into
later
the
Mountain
with,
Village.
there.
Yeah.
Mountain Village, Mountain Temple, though. Yeah.
Everything's on fire. You gotta.
Yeah, but you are getting into the platform because you do have to like jump some gaps and
Oh,
make your
is
way
this
through.
okay? So this is the part we get through, and then we find essentially like the bad guys
Well,
Yeah.
here.
You get
And-
introduced to the other people. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they come across the bad guys. I think they take one or two of your
Mhm.
group,
Don't they
and
shoot
then
someone?
Yeah.
they might shoot someone. I don't know if they die. Man, okay. So another little inside note. It's probably been like 2 weeks since I've played my
Same.
playthrough.
Same.
So
4 since I've been at this part.
yeah.
Because
So
I did like the first half like 4 weeks ago. It got like I just blew through like the first 2 levels here, but then like most of Village and Base Approach I just did. Like
yeah, I
within the
think we
past 2
all
weeks.
like we were talking about earlier. We all overestimated how long this was going to take us to get through. So I think next episode where it's going to be a lot easier, a lot more.
We
a lot
know how to-
fresher in our memory because
Not to pace ourselves.
yeah, we'll be able to pace ourselves better towards the time of recording. But yeah, so essentially we're going through trying to find the people of our crew that have been taken by this dirtbag, and this is a lot of stealth. They've set the temple, like they've said, on fire, and you're kind of like stealthing through, trying not to get spotted by the bad guys. Essentially, or eventually, you get into a confrontation with like the leader of this group, which was very cringy. Not in terms of how the game executed it, but this guy is super cringe, and he's like
Yeah.
trying to kill Laura, but also like
Make out with her.
groping, like borderline molesting her right before he kills her, and it's just made me feel gross and icky inside, which is a good job by the game.
He's
but
like a old school bad guy where he likes to play with his prey before he
Yeah.
Mhm.
kills it.
But we end up escaping his clutches. Is this where we pick up the handgun?
Yep, it's his gun.
We get his gun. Does he die here?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
dang.
you shoot him like in the head.
That was short lived.
It was.
Yeah.
He was a good guy to hate. Like I really did not like this
I
guy.
thought you were just gonna say he was a good guy.
No,
he was a
just
good
saying
guy.
He was shaping up to be like a good villain in my
Yeah.
mind, but we took care of him right here in chapter 2.
That's right.
We get the handgun and we continue to stealth our way out of this
Murder.
fiery mountain temple, and we end up getting into the mountain village, which I think I agree with you, Nick, that this is probably my favorite part of these 4 chapters. Probably the biggest zone of these 4 chapters too so far. Why don't you kind of tell us what you like so much about the village?
Yeah, and it's also like so far it's the hardest. It has the most stuff to do, definitely, because like all the other zones, like these other 3 out of the 4, without even attempting, you get like over 70% complete if you're thorough and like pick up, you check all the corners along your way, you can get like a pretty high completion rate, which I do like on the map. It shows you the completion rate
Yes,
for that
is
zone.
cool. Yeah.
It's perfect. I love the map interaction.
you would appreciate the map.
Oh yeah, and I do like how accessible everything is. Like, hey, this is how much the zone is complete. Here's some question marks, some X's, right? Here's what you found. Like that just makes sense to me. But yeah, it's cool because this is where you land. You find your boy who's like hurt. Then you like
Yeah.
save him from the wolves,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. So here I'll read the little paragraph that kind of summarizes the temple village and up to the base approach.
Yeah.
So as Laura and Whitman explore, they discover that the island's inhabitants are worshiping Himiko, confirming that the island is in fact Yamatai. So The two are captured by the islanders and taken to a settlement along with other survivors from the Endurance, which is the ship they sailed. They were coming in on. When the survivors attempt an escape, the captors turn on them. Laura is separated from Whitman and is forced to kill one of her attackers, which is what we just went over. That yucky guy. She locates an injured Roth, which is he's not the captain of the ship, right? He's just
Nah,
like
he's like the muscle kind of.
he seems like the wilderness, like
survival
Yeah.
muscle guy.
She locates an injured Roth and using his equipment,
He is the captain.
Is he the actual captain of the ship?
I think so.
Okay, you need to verify that for me.
Jet GPT just verified it for us.
Okay, perfect. By the way, before the episode started, Jeff asked ChatGPT to summarize the story of Tomb Raider. So
that's not what Mike has been saying.
Yeah. So by the end of the episode, Jeff, I want you to tell me how close ChatGPT got, if it was actually accurate or not. But anyways, using Roth's equipment, she sets off for a communications relay at the very top of the mountain to contact the outside world and call for aid. So yeah, the mountain village. We get the double jump. So much space to explore. By the end of it, we get the pick for climbing the spongy looking rock. There's some more combat here, a lot of platforming, lots of collectibles, and we have the first tomb, which I think is cool. Jeff, what did you think about the tomb system that they introduced here? Did you actually do it, or did you just like...
I did.
Oh, nice.
But I actually found it before I could actually do it.
Same.
I'm like, I can't get up this wall. I'm like trying to jump and climb it, but I can't. No, it was fun. Took me a little bit to complete it. I do like those types of things, the challenges, the puzzles and whatnot. No, I liked it. Yeah, I'm surprised I actually did it.
It's like a nice little mini side game for these zones. They have maybe one, maybe more tombs. I don't know. This is the first area that had a tomb. What do you think, Nick?
I'm sure they won't all be like this, but I like that it had no enemies in it per se. It's just kind of like introducing you to the puzzles and kind of the objective of them. I imagine they're all going to be some sort of slick way to get out once you complete it, like this one had. Because I think you could like zip line all the way back to the entrance. Not that it was that far. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed this zone for that reason. But also, it's also the first zone where you have an abundance of things you could do, but you need more skills for.
Yes,
they did the first zone. The Coastal Forest had one, which you need the pick for, I believe, and I went back and did that.
Nice.
Because I noticed it was like the little white wash wall kind of. So there's just one thing there, right? Kind of hinting at that feature. But this zone, it's like apparent that's
there's a lot.
I need some sort of like rope
connector
swinger thing to get me like a grappling hook. I imagine that's what's coming.
Yeah, this is a great part to bring this up. This Tomb Raider is very Metroidvania in the sense of having to go back to areas once you get upgrades and new equipment and things like that to open up new places to explore. And exactly like you said, Nick, this one, I was driving myself nuts because the completionist in me is like, I know I can get up there. How do I get up there? How do I get up there? I can't get up there. And it was driving me nuts.
Yeah. And I think so when you're going to the wolf den, right, to like kill the wolf, you do see, if you're paying attention, you do see the tomb entrance. So I remember going like up to it and realizing like, oh, this is a tomb. But because at this point in the game, I've realized that it's very much like a, go back, complete it anytime you want. I was like, I have no problem just beelining like the story in the zone and like knocking that out. So I ignored it and completed that part of the mission and then got that. But I do see how like you can go in there and completely be like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Probably partially by design.
Yeah, and the tombs. This one was pretty small, not like
Oh yeah,
not
you could
huge,
see the
not very
beginning and
time
end.
consuming. And then you get like a reward. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the reward when you open up the chest. But one of the other things that happens when you complete these tombs is you get the treasure map of the area, which each of these zones has a treasure map, which
Oh.
shows you the location of all the collectibles. So
That's why I can see all of those in
yeah.
that zone.
So another side benefit of the tombs. I wonder if they'll get more elaborate and time consuming as we go
I
on.
sure hope.
But yeah, cool little. I love the side stuff. It's pretty cool. So like Nick said, we find Roth here, who's been viciously attacked by wolves. And do we save him from a wolf attack, or do we just come across him like with his basically leg just all?
Pretty sure we save him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because the wolf like has something
yeah.
of his that we have to go retrieve. So it's not just a vengeance mission; it's a vengeance plus you also took something we need. So we go, we avenge Roth, which by the way, that was a cool little wolf den. There's a little part where a wolf kind of it's kind of dark in there.
It's good tension too, without like being unnecessarily difficult. It's just like it's kind of horror-ish, and that's like
Yeah.
definitely a theme in the first 4 chapters here.
Yeah, there's a part where a wolf kind of like jets out and then into like a crevice, and I'm like, okay, is he gonna come back out? Like, I was very on my toes in there.
In the beginning part, when you get the bow, like
Mhm.
you're hurt,
Yeah.
and they're like it's slow motion,
Yeah.
and they're jumping out of the bushes or whatever.
Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
Is that what you were talking about just now?
No.
Oh,
Wolf Den past the temple or the
Yeah.
past the tomb.
Yeah, after we find our old
right.
half-eaten
Take
captain.
that, Chat GTP.
No, I would.
You were like, "What are they talking about right now?" And it gave you the wrong answer.
No. I was watching something else. I was watching someone play through because I was trying to figure out what the treasure is that you find in that temple,
yeah.
and it's just that map.
Oh, okay, it's only the map. Okay, so I wonder if each temple will just be the map or if there will be something else. But yeah, the map's super handy for collectors
bazooka.
for sure. So we get vengeance on the wolf here, and did the wolf somehow take the axe? Is that what it was? And then he gives us like a phone that we got to go to the top of this radio tower to use, something like that, or maybe the walkies we have. Anyways, we get Roth in like a decent position to where he's maybe not going to die. Hopefully.
Didn't we have to find his pack?
Yeah.
That's what it was, the pack.
Yeah.
So we get his pack. We get him like, hopefully you don't die, Roth.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go now. No,
he tells you.
He convinces Laura like, hey, you got to go try to get on top of the radio tower, call out for help. Reluctantly,
he's like, you got this, girl.
Yeah,
it was a very inspirational moment.
It was
motivational moment. He's like, you're a Croft.
Yeah, dude, it's in your blood. Yeah, Roth, great guy. I hope he doesn't die because he would be a good guy to have on your side. So he convinces Laura to go up to the radio tower, and we head into the base approach here. And this, for me, was a 100% failure on stealth, like right out of the gate.
Damn.
So this was like a big. Well, it's not big. This section is actually very small. But as you go through the
you didn't go into Splinter Cell mode right away and just
I tried to
shoot the lights.
Dude, I failed so hard on the first enemy that I just got into a huge shootout with like 15 enemies, and somehow I didn't die somehow, but zero stealth for me. So I would love to hear from your guys' perspective how the stealth was in this, because like you said, once I got to the top where the like machine gun was, I was like, oh, cool, I could shoot the lights out. Not that it matters right now, but that probably would have been cool.
Yeah, so this is like that narrow kind of passage approach. Not that it's like closed, but it's like a narrow trench, right? That you're
Mhm.
kind of following. Yeah. Kind of going through some like cars and barrels, right? And they're just kind of scared around. Yeah, I mean, I kind of popped in there and I'm like, hey, I'm rocking this bow. We're gonna keep this gun away. We're just gonna pop these guys in the head. The game is super liberal with its like targeting system of like what counts as like a head or like they're not really hiding. Like most of the time you get an angle and kill them while they're undercover, which I thought
Yeah.
was
For the
interesting.
for the most part, yeah.
For the most part, yeah. There's quite a few where I'm like, that's a little too easy, but whatever. Yeah, sure you, dude. Um, yeah, I think I only got in like a mild shootout. No, honestly, the only big shootout I was in was in the mountain temple where those guys are kind of there's that like little waterfall like between you and there's like some buildings
Yeah.
and you climb up there. That I got in a shootout, and then there's like the like right after that there's a like a stairwell that goes up this building.
Yeah.
Definitely got in a shootout there because the dude across the way saw me kill the other dude and it was bad.
Nice.
And I think that deterred me from wanting any more shootouts. I was just like, that's just too much for poor Laura here. She's
So
trying to
did you
recover from.
shoot the lights out?
Yeah, I wasn't entirely sure what benefit that was providing all the time. I think because I got the first one when the dude's standing like right around the corner from the car, right below the machine gun, kind of. I got that
Mhm.
one. Um, yeah, I wasn't really sure. I was also though kind of worried that they would become suspicious of that, of the lights just like popping. Maybe they think like, ah, the bulb just blew.
Yeah.
So weird. Where are
um,
these arrows coming from? They're shooting
it's
these
so
lights out.
strange.
Oh well, we're just gonna stand here.
Yeah, but somehow I was able to like pretty much stealth right through that. So yeah, it was definitely enjoyable, and I liked some of the building hopping that they had going on there, where it's like kind of the
Oh yeah.
metal with their spikes on the one way, you had to go around the other way. Like
Hmm.
that stuff's just fun, and especially like with enemies lurking around, so you kind of got to pay attention. But definitely starting to pick up, right, and like all the mechanics are down and
Yeah.
that's where I didn't really want to stop because the way
Yeah.
this level ends is like you kind of drop down into like the next tier of this base.
Hmm.
And I was like, I just want to keep going.
I know.
I did keep going because I couldn't stop. Like I was like in a mode, you know?
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah. So yeah. I forget exactly what it was. Maybe I stealth killed because you can go up and like
Yeah.
melee like kill them. I think I did that on the first one right as one of the people were like turning around and I was like, no, and then just machine gun fire and then
Oh yeah, that's a
endless
bad spot.
enemies charging at me. So I just like ran back down the little cavern area behind the truck and just tried to like pick them off with switching between the pistol and the arrows.
Did that work?
Yeah, I didn't die and they all did. So
Did the machine gun guy eventually come after you or no?
no, that one I that one I just dodge rolled up into cover until I got
It's not a Souls game.
Right?
I couldn't get him out from behind the machine gun. So I dodge rolled up closer and closer, hiding behind cover. I got up to the building he was in, killed a few more people, climbing up to the stairs, finally killed him, and then yeah, eventually made it over to
Dang. Your
the
lore is
tower
like
to
intense.
dude. And this is like maybe what 12 hours after being impaled through the side of like
Right?
with like rebar steel or whatever.
You know,
She's getting like lit up by a machine gun while it's
I
just
ha-
Ain't
I've
nothing
not
stopping her.
I've not pulled bowstrings often in my life, but I do imagine if I had been impaled by like some rebar, like in
that
my
would
like side
probably be
area,
difficult.
I don't know if I'd be able to be.
Even if it was on
You know,
your non-pull hand, like keeping this steady,
there's a
the
lot of
front part of
torso
the
work in
bow,
there.
yeah, that would
Mhm.
be so hard.
Like that's where all your
Um,
stability, I feel like,
But
comes
she's
from.
a she's a Croft.
Oh,
she's
she
a
is a craft.
craft, dude.
Remember.
Yes, she is
Um,
also like a Drake. And
yes,
they can just anything
yep.
fall from 4 stories. I know I would be with a broken back.
Yeah, something would be broken for sure, if not everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I love this part, if I can say.
No, we can't go into the next. Can't go into chapter 5 yet.
No, I'm
so-
not. I'm talking
okay,
about
keep it.
what you
Okay,
guys have
perfect.
talked about already. The stealth part was so much fun. Shooting
Yeah.
out the lights, sneaking up on guys, choking them out with a bow.
Yeah.
The headshots, the stealth kills were awesome. I
So
love
when you guys were able to stealth through here, were you mainly headshotting with the bow, or were you mainly physical
Headshots
attacking
with
from
bows.
behind, or a
it. Well,
combination of both?
I mean, combination of both. It depends on which way they were facing.
Mhm.
I didn't really run into a situation where I would take out one and then the others would notice, which was kind of weird.
I
I
did on
feel-
the second story behind the machine gun. There was 2 guys there that I had to like in quick succession headshot them with the bow.
Yeah, I think it did happen that the one dude noticed because he was like right there.
Yeah.
But like the right at the beginning where there's like 3 of them on the ground and there's the big spotlight and the guy at the spotlight and
Yes,
the
sir.
cars and all that. Shoot out the light. They're like, oh, that's weird. The light went out.
Damn it.
Yeah.
They
Check
turn
out-
around and they're like, their
That was our
friend just
last
has
light
an
bulb.
arrow through his
Yeah.
head, and they're like, "Well, that's super weird."
Well, like the one dude was still facing the light. I shot him. There's another dude up here who might have been looking at him but didn't react. And then there was another dude off to my right that wasn't even paying attention. I'm like, these guys are like really terrible at guarding
Yeah.
the place.
I wonder if like a higher difficulty increases their alertness.
Like the AI in it.
yeah, because I feel like it's purposely dumb for like people that just want to be chilling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because instead of doing like a damage, like they maybe do a damage reduction, but it seems like instead of just doing like damage reduction and like increase your damage, it's almost like they are a little less like reactive to what happens.
I hope that's true. Because it's not very good
Yeah.
game development.
Yeah. So yeah, we end up climbing up this tower and making our base approach. And where I ended, where I believe chapter 5 begins, is crawling through the crack in the wall.
Mhm.
Is that kind of where you ended, Nick? I know, Dad, you said you kept going a little bit, but
Yeah, there's like some guys ahead. They're like
They're
talking. I
talking,
think.
yeah.
Yeah. That's why I was super like, I was like, can I just stop here? I guess I can. I was worried about my save, or is there a campfire right there?
There's no campfire. there.
there's no campfire, but I too was worried about my save. I exited the game and fired it back up, and I was right there.
That's why we keep you around.
Maybe I had to like walk through that hole in the wall again, but
I'd be okay with replaying that zone.
So like you're talking about after you zip line and you're in the water.
Yes.
So there is at the bottom left part of the screen, it says the location that you're at.
Mhm.
oh really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it says mountain base.
Oh, cool. Nice. That's good to know. So yeah. First leg of the Tomb Raider series. I'm enjoying
So
it.
good.
Sounds like you guys are too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um
I hope
You
there's a lot
excited?
more stealth.
I was gonna ask if you're excited for part 2 next month in August.
Oh, definitely. I'm almost already thinking about the next Tomb Raider game in the series. Though the only thing that I don't like is I think they like slightly degrade in like compatibility on the Steam Deck. I think
Mhm.
this one's fully playable.
Oh,
It's like verified, but the other two, definitely the second one is like not verified but playable. But I can't remember. I feel like the
You know,
third
it's-
one might be not tested.
at all?
You know, it's interesting. Playing through Banner Saga again. Shocking. This time on PC and the Steam Deck. Game 1, verified. Game 2,
Yeah,
I think is a similar thing where it's maybe playable but not verified. Game 3, not.
yeah.
So the newest one, not playable on the Steam Deck, which is
That
super
really
weird.
cramps your style. Maybe
does.
you just need to be an early tester of it. Because I do not imagine those games like vary greatly between them in terms of like mechanics. You know?
Yeah, I'm the game 1 and 2, not much. So I'm not expecting a big jump from 2 to 3. So.
It's an action RPG.
Yeah. Man, that would actually be super fun. Not gonna lie. But yeah, so I'm excited for part 2, which we'll be recording here towards the end of August. So Nick, I believe this was your suggestion for the game.
Yes, sir.
Good choice. Good choice. I'm enjoying it.
Very good choice.
I'm very happy with it.
I apparently at some point in time I wanted to play this game because it was sitting in my Steam library. So thank you for giving me an excuse to fire it up and get through it. So we'll be back in August for part 2, covering chapters 5 through 9, I believe. But before we go, we got to say thank you, patrons. Those of you watching this, we appreciate you. Your continued support, and hope you enjoy the video. And if you like play-alongs, which is what I'm ripping off from one of my favorite podcasts, Play-Along Podcast, shout out.
Play along podcast.
If you like these types of playthroughs of games, let us know. I enjoyed this episode, and I think I'm going to enjoy the rest of the series. So it would be fun to continue to create content like this. So let us know what you guys think, and thank you again for your support. And make sure you tune in next time in August for part 2. So
Peace out.
Brad.
bye.